Hey everybody, welcome back to Champion Sons in our Madden 23 Detroit Lions franchise series here as we are in the off season now, taking a look at some of the awards that have been divvied out. Offensive Player of the Year in the NFC is going to go to Alvin Kamara and the 11-6 New Orleans Saints. So, I guess he had a pretty good season. Swift came on later in the season, so yeah, he came in at number 5, which I could see. Now Mike Hughes, his interceptions led him to be Defensive Player of the Year. He always seemed to be in the right spot at the right time. And as far as offensive rookie, Jamison Williams came through big time, and then Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side. Both of them were integral to the success that we did have. And like a lot of us here in Detroit, it was a slow start. It was a slow start to the season, but once we hit that midway point, then really got into, right past that halfway point of the season, we kind of came into our own, really found ourselves on the offensive side of the ball, and we were able to, make some moves happen, not really staffing-wise or player-wise, but on the field. And that's what led to, Hughes getting Defensive Player of the Year and Best Defensive Back. So a lot of good things going on and that we can build on. Now the Super Bowl was the Green Bay Packers versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Aaron Rodgers gets himself another ring. In that instance, 35-28 for that game. So after the Super Bowl, obviously what it comes down to is free agent signings, right? Now some of these guys, we mentioned they're always a little bit older. And one thing I know is that we are going to need some veteran leadership. We have a lot of young talent. Don't get me wrong, we do. But you need to have some veterans there who are capable of taking on that leadership role and kind of showing them the way. So Sean Dion Hamilton, we offered him before. He didn't want to take an offer from us earlier in the season. After we had some success, we look at trying to offer him again. He's 27, so he's right at that point where I don't really want to sign him. But I know we need him around, and we actually work a deal that's pretty beneficial, I think, for both guys, both of us, him and the team, and he does sign. So that was a pretty good thing. Trinity Benson, a receiver, obviously his speed was killer for us, especially with the kickoff return game. He made a big impact, but overall, not something I really want to move on with. Now, Will Harris, we're looking to build up our defense and our defensive backfield. He's a 71 overall, age 27, so he's not going to go very far, right? He's not going to develop all that much more. But just for salary cap purposes, we want to try to give him a 3-year deal, kind of lessens the blow over a little bit. I always found in Madden, if you extend the years and just up the salary a wee bit, you kind of lessen the impact, but the player generally tends to sign just like he did there. So we're trying to keep some of these guys on board with us. Those are the main ones. Quarterbacks, Jared Goff is still our backup right now. So Tim Boyle, David Blau, I'm not even going to worry with these guys. I kind of want to just so I can be like, maybe I can trade away Goff and see what can happen. See what we can get for him, and then at least I still have a backup that's been a part of our team and a part of our program for a few seasons. But in the end, no, not going to be happening on that. Not with having only $12 million in cap space right now, still needing to go into free agency. So we do move on from the signings. So we got Hamilton and Harris. That was really about it. So here we come into the free agent market. Now, Tremaine Edmonds has a bunch of interest in joining us. He is going to be a pretty high price type of player, right? He's 25, so he's real young, but he's definitely worth it. He's you talk about having Hutchinson and on the line. You talk about having Hughes as a cornerback. Elliott as a safety, who's going to be that guy in the middle to kind of hammer down that linebacker core, and Tremaine Edmonds could have been it. He's an interesting one. It said his interest is really high up. Not going to lie, I don't see him wanting to sign with us. We are going to go ahead and give him an offer. I want to see we're going to bump him up a little bit. And the one thing that I don't see, like in the previous Mads, you can kind of see what the other offers were, or at least how your offer, compares to theirs. I'm not able to see that in this year's version, which does make this a little bit more of a little pain to do, to try to figure out. It's going to be kind of just a guessing game, because if you guess wrong, then what's going to happen is he's going to sign with someone else. And we gave him a pretty good offer, I think. Something that 6 years and all that, millions of dollars, so pretty good offer overall. But we'll have to see kind of how that thing plays out. Then it took me a little later. There is that L3, evaluate the offer. I could have just hit that, and that would have been the determining factor, but I didn't. Could have seen early on where that was going to fall. Did not do that, so it is what it is. Now, still looking at our linebacker field, Adeniyi, that's what we're going to go with. Adeniyi, we look at him, we want to go ahead and see if we can't try to shore up that linebacker spot. But, hey, that's week 1. Let's see what we can do with Edmonds, see if he'll go ahead and join us or not. That's going to be the biggest thing and kind of what we do moving forward. So I want to make sure we have space if he chooses not to sign with us. So simulating, here we go. Still got to, the mock drafts are kind of ridiculous at this point. I don't really look at that too much. We will kind of check it out. But right now I just want to maintain our focus on the free agent market. And going to our targeted, let's take a look, see if it has him on. Yeah, he's not even on there anymore. So you can basically expect that he did not sign with us, and he didn't. He has a nice little X right by his name. He went on ahead and signed with the Cincinnati Bengals. My guess is probably because of their championship capability. So, it's something we're going to have to take a look at. Anthony Hitchens. Now, as far as linebackers go, I've seen him, I believe, play for the Cowboys before. He is 31 years old. Excuse me, but he's a pretty decent linebacker. He's got capabilities. He's only an 80 speed. So, in the run game, especially coming up the middle, he's got definite potential to play a big impact there. And so what I do want to look at, if I can get him for cheaper, this is a player friendly, don't get me wrong. But as far as a cap hit, it's not that strenuous. It really is not that strenuous of a cap hit for us. And we're going to be building in through the draft. So this is really one of those, let's get the veteran leadership in. Let's try to see if we can't pull him on. He's a 76 overall. So he's not going to get much better. I mean, he just isn't. Right? But if we have an opportunity to add that there, that'll help us with some of the rookies we're going to be looking at. Now, Adeniyi, we come back to him. We didn't offer him before because he's a 71 overall, but he is age 25, so he's got definite development capabilities. Our cap space is getting a little on up there, so we do look at a 4-year offer for him. And so we will offer him a contract. We'll have to wait to see, if he actually does accept that. Now, Kyle Van Noy, age 32, 76 overall, big-time interest in joining us. And yet, I just don't believe in him all that much. I don't know what it is about him, but I just don't. So we kind of go down the list and look at Arden Key, 71 overall. He's 27 years old, so he's a guy that I think actually has possible trade value as we go. Maybe not this season. We'll use him as much as we need, but possibly in the next season, look to trade him, kind of going forward. And he'll only be he's 27 now, so he'll be 28 after next year. So it'll be a pretty good sight to see. And we do have the top offers on all of these guys right now. And so I still want to take a look. We still have $3.26 million. Not much we could really do actually with that. So we do finally find that evaluate contract button, and we do hit it. And let's go see. And we get all 3 of them signed. So our linebacker core is pretty well staffed up with veteran leadership, and that's what we are kind of wanting to do here in this free agent period. because I do think our defensive backfield is pretty well shored up, and we didn't need to have a primetime cornerback. So coming into the draft, we're going to take a look at the first couple draft picks before we go ahead and look at ours. And Seattle picks up Scotty Hartwig out of Ooh La La with the number 1 pick, quarterback. That should be a pretty good pick for them. They definitely need to move on. In the Madden realm, Drew Lock and Geno Smith are not all that great. Now the Giants come in with getting Rick Kyle, a cornerback out of Washington, kind of filling in some of the spots they needed on their pass defense. And then Alex Cunningham, he was a top-rated linebacker. I was hoping he might drop some. But no, the Titans pick him up immediately. And then same thing with Zay McGee. But the Texans pull him off for the 4th pick. So those were linebackers we kind of looked at, but I didn't plan on getting them, right? It wasn't something I was like, all right, we're going to get these guys. Kind of knew going into it, most likely weren't going to with the way our season ended up. So in the first round, we do have 2 picks. The first one comes in at number 19. And so this is where things kind of get a little, which way do we want to go? Obviously, I've been focused on defense. That's still really where I want to be at. And I'm thinking some of these defensive backs probably will drop either to later in the first round, because we do have that second one, or they'll drop even into the second round. So we'll have to kind of take a look at it there. But one thing I do like seeing, Torrey Newhouse, we've had our eye on him before. If you look at his college pro day stats and where he rated in the 40-yard dash, the cone drill, and the 20-yard shuttle, all of those were top 5. He's not the strongest guy, but he's definitely got speed. He's got the awareness, play recognition, stamina. His tackling is a B, is rated as a B. He's definitely someone that could really help out our team and our defense. Coming up with, playing with the veterans. So we do go ahead and pick up Newhouse, and he is going to be a hidden development trade, obviously. Coming in, going to be one of our, probably, I don't know if he'll be a first-day starter. The way we run our defense, he'll be on the field quite a bit, though. Don't get me wrong. Look at his stats right there. Acceleration, 91. That's something excellent to have in the middle of the field. So now we are going to go ahead and skip on to the next pick for us, which is still here in round number 1, pick number 27. And this is where we need to start taking a look at trying to find someone else to fill in some other gaps that we have, right? Johnny Bryant, quarterback out of Washington, not worried about him. Our wide receiver core is pretty well kind of handled, Running backs we'll have to take a look at. But I want to bring in some talent. I want to bring in some speed. I want to see what we can do with returns and all that. So looking at LaMarcus Milner, projected as a 1st or 2nd round pick, his 40-yard dash, 4.36 40. He was first in the cone drill, and so he's got a lot of possibilities for him. He really does. Now PJ Long, he kind of dropped with his, physical skills. The college pro day, his 40-yard dash is pretty slow, but he's got some good strength. Vertical, it is what it is. Broad jumps, nothing too spectacular. And that's one problem with him. Bench press came in at number 1. Everything else was pretty average rated. And so we kind of move on from P.J. Long. Looking at Tim Denard, left outside linebacker, there's not much going on there. Defensive tackle realm, something we want to continue to shore up. Aiden Hutchinson's coming off one side, Harris off the other side. Who's going to be up the gut? Luke Bulware, we haven't looked at him too much. He's got a lot of potential, though. And so if you look at his physical skills, so broad jump, 3 cone drill and stuff, he comes in the top 5 in a lot of those physical type skills. So we'll have to see what he can do. I think maybe we might be able to see about having him drop a little bit. And if we can pick him up in a later round, I think we definitely want to move forward with him later on. I'm just not so sure about right now. Now, Taj Brown, a halfback. DeAndre Swift moved into an X-Factor player. Okay? He put on the performance of 1,400 yards, multiple touchdowns, great back half of the season. So he's someone if we can pair him up with the right running back, get that Pollard-Elliott situation Dallas has right now in the real world, that would be ideal. But right now, running backs aren't that great in this draft. And in all reality, the way Madden the second seasons are working out. And free agency, God knows who's going to be available then, right? So we come back to defensive back Lamarcus Milner, 4.36, which is really what's got my eye. And then the cone drill. First in the cone drill at 6.64. And then third in the 20-yard shuttle at 3.97. So we do actually pick him up. And surprisingly, with having that much positive stats, he's only normal development. But he's got so much going on for him, especially in the speed realm, that I think we can really use him in the return game and all that. And I think he'll come out to be a lot better than what they rated him with a pick. So now we come into our round 2 pick, the 19th pick in round numero dos. And looking here, defensive tackle Luke Boulware still on the board. I was hoping he would drop, and he did. He has dropped quite a bit. Scouting, the problem with that is we only have 55% scouting done on him. So it's we don't have all the information we need. But I think if you look at his 3-cone drill, his 20-yard shuttle, 40-yard dash for defensive tackle, pretty good stats there. And so we do go in and pick him in the second round. He's not that big of a risk for us. He's not a development trade or anything like that. But I think he's a pretty solid pick who'll do a solid job, stuff in the middle of that defensive line. So now we come into round number 3. We've gone defense with every pick so far. I do want to take a look at our offense. I think our wide receiver core is pretty well shored up, but it never hurts to look at some of the other younger guys, especially if you can get one to drop. They'll start out in the slot, and if you can find yourself, a decent target coming out of a slot receiver, you've got a lot of possibilities. Moses Justin's got capability. He's got the strength. First in the bench press. Second in broad jump, which doesn't really affect me all that much. I do mainly look at speed, the cone drill, and all that. But that's really what I focus on when I look at those physical things, especially kind of depending on the position. Strength is one thing I'll really look at for the linemen. Maybe sometimes some of the linebackers a little bit, but mainly just the linemen. And it'll kind of help me determine if I'm going to pick someone at that point. And so here, the problem with round 3 and the way Madden does their scouting now, I like the old point system. I think that worked out pretty well. You could cut through a lot of the positions and see a lot of the guys later on down in the draft, what their capabilities were. The way it is now, it gets kind of tough the deeper you get into the draft. And I really don't like that. I really hate that about how they do things. So it's one of those things that's kind of a bother to us here in this. Now, looking at projected picks, for some reason, I try to see. We have nothing on that column. If you look to the left side right there, I just really wanted to have something available to show. But nothing there. So we're sticking with the defensive side right now. And looking at some other defensive backs, and really I want to have the speed. I want to have return game going. Kick returners. It'd be great if you could have a speedster that doesn't really play and face that much of a risk of injury. However, third round, not much truly there. So we do look at trading away our pick and what's going to give us the best value for that. And so normally I like to think, I'll take future draft picks, don't get me wrong. I definitely will. Tennessee had a pretty interesting offer there for a second. But kind of just going around taking a look. I still want to look at having a third-round pick in this draft. That was one of the bigger things. Although if I need to, I can add a later one on and keep a third round or fourth round for the next year, right? So that's kind of what we're looking at here, is seeing what are teams willing to give us for this draft pick. Nothing obviously all that exceptional. A lot of it's 2024 third-round picks. Some are this draft in the third or fourth round. But I like having multiple pick options later on. I think if you do I'd hate to say the scouting, because you can't really do the scouting all that great for the later draft picks, but if you work things properly, you can get a lot of picks later, and actually we can use them for trade capital. You talk about give up one player. If we really need someone, we give up a lower tier player, but add in, fourth round pick and a third round pick if you have it, or a fourth and a fifth, or 2/4, whatever you start throwing in the draft picks, it'll help boost that a little bit. So, taking a look at what Atlanta had offered us, we do go ahead and initiate the trade with them for our third round pick. Like I said, getting later into these drafts, that's kind of where we go. I like to see what we can get a lot of times before I'll move on. So here we are now in the fourth round. Got some interesting guys still available. Trying to figure out, if you look at a lot of these guys, I think at this point are basically to the point where they may even drop to possibly the fifth round. Not exactly sure, but it's definite possibility here. And if we can actually have one of them drop and pick them up later on and have them be a pretty decent player for us, I'm not saying they'd become a Tom Brady type player, but be pretty decent, fill that roster spot, I think we can make something work. Juan Favors, looking at his stats, broad jump first, but 20-yard shuttle. He was second in the 20-yard shuttle. And he's got good strength, so we do draft him. Overall awareness is a C. It's not horrible, especially for a rookie. He's definitely got a lot of development capability, though, and that's one of the main reasons why we did pick him, is because he does have that capability. Now, because of the trade we had, we do have another fourth-round pick here that we're going to go ahead and take a look at trying to use some of these guys and trying to pick something up. Some deeper players just to kind of build our roster up and see, where can we add in, some positivity. So we look at wide receiver Lloyd Bailey. Bench press fourth, whoop-de-doo. 40-yard dash is, 4.56. He's kind of slow, but we do go ahead and draft him anyways. And look at that. He's going to be a hidden development trait. Fourth round player and pretty solid stats all across the board. 88 speed, 84 jumping. Change of direction, though, 89. I love that. Acceleration, 88. He's got a lot of capability. A surprise pick, really just trying to fill in some depth in our wide receiver core, and we end up snatching us a lucky one right there. We'll have to see how we can't get him fed into the offense, because we're going to need him so we can see what his development is. But that should definitely be interesting going forward. Now with our actual pick going into the fourth round, the 19th pick, now we're starting to look at the trades once again. When draft capital is a big thing for me. We'll see about trying to work possibly some trades in the next season. I didn't do that a whole lot this year because I wanted to see what our team was, what we had available to us. But going into next season, we'll definitely try to look into doing that. So we do trade away our pick to the Browns, and that'll basically end the draft. We do pick up one additional player, but nothing all that special. Nothing all that great, right? So now we're going to take a look at our depth chart after the draft. This is kind of where our team stands right now. And so here are our quarterbacks. We know where we stand. Goff is our backup. Coming into the running back situation, DeAndre Swift and Jefferson. Now I don't have a third back. I'll probably look to pick one up in free agency. If I really need to, I will also. Fullback, Kabinda, pretty solid player for us all around. Looking at wide receivers, St. Brown is going to be our number one with Jameson Williams right there on his tail, both 83 overall. DJ Shark is an 81. Cephas 76, Reynolds 75, and then Lloyd Bailey coming in at 68. But we got to remember, he is a hidden dev trait player, so we're going to have to feed him in somehow, some way. Just going to have to do it. Hawkinson leads our tight end core. And then our offensive line, I think this season is a lot better than what we were last year. Right, Jonah Jackson being up into the 80s. He started out last year, I believe, in the mid-70s. So our center, Ragnow, at least that's what I'm calling him. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. He's going to be the leader of our offensive line at 71. Vitae, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I'm sure as hell I'm not going to try that first name. He's our starting right guard at a 74 overall. He's been in the league for 7 years. Might want to look at getting someone next season or in the draft. See what we can do with him. Possibly maybe an off-season trade or something. Then Penei Sewell will be our starting right tackle. And coming in on the defensive line, Harris coming on the left side. Hutchinson's going to be there on the right side. And then let's look at some of these other guys. We got James Houston. I didn't even know we had him on our team. Josh Pascal, though, he's all the way down and not even listed. He's a 72 overall. Player tag is a future starter. He's someone who might be able to trade away. I'll have to see. He is kind of young, so I don't really know if I want to trade him away just yet. Romeo Okwara is going to be the backup right now. But, well, there's a long season ahead, 17 weeks plus the preseason. We'll see what happens. Defensive tackle is going to be McNeil, Onwuzurike, Brockers, and then there's Bulware right there, and Zach Greer, we picked him up a little later on in the draft. Y'all didn't see that one, but he's nothing special, as you can tell at the bottom of the depth chart. Now, Sean Hamilton is going to be starting left outside linebacker, but Adeniyi is right there on his tails. Now, in the middle linebacker spot, Aiden Hutchinson is going to be right in front of Torrey Newhouse, and I accidentally hit the wrong button and switched over to the Packers depth chart. So let's get right back to the Lions. There we go. Torrey Newhouse, he's a 72 overall. He's going to be on the field a lot, though, so that's kind of going to be a given. Hitchens is 77. I'm definitely going to be playing him. Now, Arden Key will be our starting right outside linebacker over Rodriguez, who's been with the team for about a season now. He's definitely a developmental type player. Now, coming in the defensive backfield, we are kind of limited, okay? But Hughes is going to lead us off with Oruwariye as an 80, Okuda 77, Milliner, our first-round rookie at a 76 overall, looking to make an impact immediately. And then in the safety game, free safety, we got Walker the third at a 78 overall. Melifonwu at a 70, and then Juju Hughes coming in at 63. A lot of depth there. Going to have to look to actually build some more depth in our cornerback area, I think. And then Deshaun Elliott, 5-year player out of Texas, is leading off our strong safeties at an 80 overall over Joseph, which is a 70. And then kickers, well, they are what they are, right? So what does this mean? Where do we go from here? We're going to go ahead and get this season 2 game 1 started. And before that, we have to answer some questions from the press about what are we going to be looking for? What is our team going to be? And we're going to look at having a defensive powerhouse kind of team, right? And I think the way we're built, stopping the pass, is going to be ideal for what we're trying to do. We need to get Newhouse brought up some before we really focus on the run. Having him in the middle there, developing. I think we're going to take some of our licks up the gut, but if we can keep the outside ones kind of contained, that'll be even that much better. So we are going to get Season 2 underway here on a Monday night primetime game on the road. Chase Champion, the Detroit Lions, are on the road in a division matchup. That's how we're getting Season 2 started, against Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. This was a team we beat last season, but they gave us some fits. It was not an easy route either way in any of these games that we played with them. It came down to a couple plays here or there that allowed us to actually get the momentum and kind of finish those games off. But outside of that, man, these games could have gone either way, the way we were playing. And so we're going to go ahead and jump on into this one. And the Bears will actually have a 3-0 lead here, 8.5 minutes to go in the first. Fields rolls to the right, and he just throws that one up, and Hughes is going to get the interception game started immediately here in week 1, dragging down his first interception of the season. Not sure why Fields threw it at him. I mean, I saw his receiver was kind of sitting right there, and then Fields just completely inaccurately threw it right at Hughes, and he ends up coming down with the catch. He's going to catch that one 10 out of 10 times anytime you do it. And so that's going to bring our offense back on the field. We have already been on the field once, and we were stopped, obviously, for no score because we are trailing 3-0. So on the 1st and 10, Chase comes out in a shotgun formation. He's got the snap, drops back. He's going to fire it over to DJ Shark coming on the drag pattern, and he's going to pick up a good 9 yards right there. And Chase is going to have to make smart throws. That's going to be our biggest thing this season. Make the smart throw and limit our turnovers. And on 2nd and 1, hand it off to Swift, who's breaking tackles. and is finally brought down all the way at the 20-yard line. That's going to officially put us into the red zone here in our first red zone trip of the season. And it just so happens to be on the road in Chicago. Now 1st and 10. Chase in a shotgun once again. He's got the snap. Hands it to Swift to the left side. Makes a cut. Makes a man miss. Swift pushing forward, and he's going to pick up 10 yards on that one. They're going to give him 11 down to the 9. That's going to put us in a goal-to-go situation. And so here we are in the first quarter, looking to put our first points of the season on the board, 9 yards away from pay dirt. Just under 7 minutes to go in the first. Chase comes out under center. 2 tight ends to the right. Has the snap. They don't bring a blitz. They drop him back, and he hits St. Brown to the left side in the flat for a gain of about 3 yards. Chase is 4 of 4 all so far in this game, but only for 21 yards. Going to have to look to stretch out this defense some way or the other to kind of free up some of the space to try to run the ball here. And so now on 2nd and goal from the 6, Chase is in a shotgun. 3 receivers left. They bring a blitz. Fires it over. Lloyd Bailey. Touchdown, Lions. Oh, my goodness. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. His first touchdown of his career. And I think that's also the first catch of his career as well. It goes for points. Putting him on the field early on has already started paying off. And we don't even know what his development trait is just yet. So Lloyd Bailey gets the opening touchdown of the season for us. Now, yes, we shanked the extra point, so we only have a 3-point lead as the Bears are driving down here, and they got it in a goal-to-go situation. But Hutchinson steps up and becomes a defensive player that we saw from him last season and brings Justin Fields down for the sack on a 1st and goal. So now 2nd and goal, now from the 13-yard line. Fields comes out in a shotgun formation. Looks like about 3 wide. Tight end is in the slot formation on the right. He hands it off up the middle. Runs into his own lineman. Tries to clear away. Montgomery just could not get too much into open space. And he gets stopped after a gain of about 4 yards, making it 3rd and goal now from the 9. Fields out once in the shotgun. Again, 2 tight ends to the left. Has the snap. Pressure comes late up the middle. Throws it up. It's going to be intercepted again by Hughes. And he takes off with it. No, he should have gone down. But Hughes gets interception number 2 already. And Fields is testing him with some of the dumbest passes. Just throwing it up to him over there. And Hughes is making him pay. Look at that. Pressure got there late. He had all day. But for some reason decides to throw a jump ball. And Ridley just didn't even want to try to jump for it is what it looked like. Now that would lead to an offensive possession that did not score. So here we are a little later now in the second quarter, just under 7 minutes to go. The game is tied at 6. We allowed them to get a field goal. We have not scored since our touchdown that we had earlier in the game. So trying to get us a lead once again. 2nd and 5. Chase has the snap, drops back, fires it to the left side. He's got Hawkinson who pulls that one down. And that's going to give us a 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line here. Hawkinson, that's his 3rd catch for 27 yards so far on the day. Or on the night, really. So 1st and 10 from the 21. Keep this drive alive. Keep momentum going. Now we're under center, 3 wide. Hawkinson to the right. Swift in the backfield. Handed off. Swift makes a man miss. To the left side. Cuts it out. And he's brought down at about the 8-yard line. Swift, that was his 10th rush so far tonight. He's got 60 yards on the ground. Our running game is working, picking up basically where we left off last season. And so with that big run, that's going to put us in a goal-to-go situation once again here in this game. We scored a touchdown last time. Need to try to repeat it again. 5.5 minutes to go in the second. Lions under center. Swift in the backfield. Chase has the snap, scans over, fires into St. Brown, pushing forward. Touchdown, Lions. Oh, my goodness. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. And St. Brown pushing through the tackle. Looked like may have hurt himself a little bit on that one. Comes over the middle, makes a daring catch, and then just manhandles the linebacker and forces his way into the end zone. And that's going to give us a lead here in this game. Now, Chicago would definitely try to come back on us and score with under a minute remaining in the first half to tie it up at 13 apiece. So here we are, Just under 30 seconds to go, trying to get this ball moving, get into maybe a field goal position. Strike back at him. Fired over, and we got Hawkinson to the right side, and he steps out of bounds with 12 seconds left at the Bears' 42-yard line. So with that clock stopped now, we can reset, and we put 5 wide on the field. 1st and 10, 42-yard line. Chase has the snap, drops back, stands over, fires it deep for Bailey, who, oh man, he just threw it just far enough, but was unable to get the completion. And so now we're going to go for a field goal. It's going to be about a 59-yard field goal. And Siebert puts that one up. The wind is at our back. And it's going to be good. 59 yards out. Oh, 58 yards, excuse me. Siebert, we had about 9-mile-an-hour wind at our back, and he's going to boot that one through to give us a lead here at the end of halftime. 16-13. Now, our defense has played, semi-well, right? 2 field goals and a touchdown. It's going to be hard to control a team like Chicago and all that. It just is. They're going to put up some points, so you got to be able to respond like we did on that one. Okay. So now taking a look at some of the scores that have already happened here in week number 1. And if we want to take a look at our division, let's see, where are the Packers? They beat the Bengals 31-23. And then the Vikings, where are the Vikings at? Let's see. They beat the Steelers 31-7. Goodness gracious. Just a beatdown right there. So Vikings and Packers both open up week 1 with a win. We're going to have to try to keep pace. I wanted to see where can we end up in the division this season. I don't want to be a number 7 seed in the NFC. I think we're a better team than that. I think we're designed right now to make the playoffs and make a push. Okay, so we got to play better though. And this is starting out here in the second half. 2 halves of football. We've got to step it up. Leading 16-13 here, just under 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. We get that first pass off over there to Williams. Coming across on the drag pattern. He's going to pick up 8 yards and make it 2nd and 2. Now under center, we send St. Brown in motion. No, that's Cephas. Hand it to Cephas, and he's going to pick up about 3 yards. Just what we needed. We used to St. Brown running that play, but instead we've filled Cephas in at that point. Since Brown's kind of stepped up to be our number 1 receiver and target. And so after that quick run, we do have a 1st and 10 here at the Bears' 23-yard line, leading by 3. Chase is going to come out in a shotgun formation. Only 3 receivers set, but bunched to the right. That Chase drops back, stands up, pocket, fires it over. Tried to give St. Brown time to get across the field, just unable to do so. The pressure got to him, and he threw an incomplete pass, so now it's 2nd and 10. Chase comes under center this time. Hands it off to Swift to the left side. Cuts it up the middle a little bit. And Swift brought down after a gain of about 8 yards. He's got 73 yards now on the evening. We're still here early in the third quarter. Just about 8 minutes remaining in the third here. So hoping to get to that century mark with Swift. Now 3rd and 2. Chase. It's going to be a play action. Drops back. No one there, and he just throws that one away. Smart move to throw that one away. Now, we could kick the field goal in this situation, but there's a lot of game time left. And I think if we go for it, we spread them out, and here we are going for it on 4th and 2. We spread them out. We've got a chance with this one. Hand it off to Swift to the right side. Blocking's there. Big hole. Makes a man miss. Swift down to about the 4-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 5, actually. Picks up a good gain. 1st and goal now for the Lions. Good run by Swift of almost about 10 yards on a 4th and 2, picking up 10 as he goes down there at that 5. And that's 1st and goal now, and that's the type of plays we're going to need moving forward, not just for this game, but for this season. That's going to be that type of gutsy play calling on 4th down and those types of guys stepping up. So 1st and goal, chasing a shotgun, hands it off to Swift up the middle, into the end zone for the touchdown. Oh, my goodness. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. That would give us a 10-point lead. And then after another interception thrown by Fields, we have possession of the ball in Bears territory and dropping off a screen pass, and Swift picks up 4 yards as Chase is 23 of 34 for just about 200 yards on the day. So 2nd and 6 now at the Bears' 14-yard line, trying to capitalize on the turnover. Chase hands it off to Swift, cuts it to the left. A little hole opens up, and he picks up about 3 yards. Swift is at 98 yards now on the evening. You need to try to get him to that century mark at some point. So 3rd and 3, under center. Chase, play action, drops it off to Kabinda in the flat, and he's unable to do anything with it. That was kind of a sissy run. Not really, but I expected him to be able to push through those guys. Unfortunately, unable to do so. And so now in this situation, because we do have a lead to protect, we are going to kick the field goal. It's a 10-point ball game right now. Now it's going to require 2 touchdowns to take a lead, or you can't tie it. Well, to take the lead or tie. I'd rather that be the case than have it be a touchdown and a field goal. So here we are now in the 4th quarter. Chicago did add a field goal on and made it 26-16, but we're trying to put this game away. This is where we failed a lot early in the season last year, is to put games away. We were able to do it in the back half of the season, but we've got to start out doing that now here in week 1. So leading by 10, handed off to Swift to the left side, pushing forward. He's going to pick up a couple yards. And at this stage of the 4th quarter, 10 minutes remaining, he's got 118 yards of rushing. So 26-16, 10-point lead, trying to build upon it and protect it. Chasing a pistol formation, 4 wide. Has the snap, drops back. Fires it deep over the middle. He's got Shark, who's going to be brought down at about the 7-yard line. DJ Shark for a good deep in route over the middle that Chase was able to deliver that ball on. And that's going to set us up beautifully. And what a throw by Chase to give him the time. The blocking held up beautifully. But then to fire it over the middle in between those little zones and allow Shark to get the ball with the ability to continue running. That was just an excellent throw and great development to see by him. Now 1st and goal at the 7. 9 minutes remaining. Chase drops back. Fires it quickly over the middle. He's got Shark again. Touchdown Lions. Oh, my goodness. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Said, Shark, you got us here. Now we're going to let you finish this one off. And he nails him on the quick slant route into the end zone for the touchdown. And that should help us put this game away here in the 4th quarter. Take us from 10 to 17-point lead. And that is exactly how that works out for us. You know, Chicago does get an extra garbage time touchdown. That's going to happen at times. So we did win by 10, 33-23. It's not as close as that 10-point game made it seem. It really was a 17-point ball game, essentially. So great performance. Gotta love seeing that from these guys. A great way to start this season. I hated how last season ended against the Rams. So to bounce back, get this one going in a positive direction. That's exactly what we need to see. Now this is going to be kind of a tougher year. We're playing a lot of teams from the AFC West. Week 2 we'll have the Chargers, but building up on a division win is a big step forward for us. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at what the press has to say. Well, it's actually not the press. It's going to be with Hughes, who played a great game. You know, yeah, we didn't limit their passing yards, but either way, we got the win. Hughes got a couple. We got 4 interceptions. Hughes got 2 of them. So a great game overall. Gotta love the way this season's set up to go. And on that note, I do want to remind y'all to hit the subscribe button if y'all have not already, and to give us a thumbs up if you're excited about what the next season has to hold, or if you did like today's video, because it does really help out the channel. And I greatly appreciate everything that y'all do for us here at Champ & Sons Gaming. So on that note, we are going to get headed over to week number 2, which will be start out the next episode. We will be at home against the AFC champion LA Chargers. That should be a fun, interesting one. And I will see y'all for that game, everybody. So as always, stay safe. And, well, y'all know how it goes by now, right? Later, y'all.